You're listening to the Walt's World Podcast, brought to you by the Lost Bros Trading Co. Join your hosts, John and Kaylee, as they banter about all things Disney, including Disney parks, resorts, dining, fashion, and movies. They'll keep you up to date with the latest Disney news and rumors, and they'll share their best tips and insight to make sure you have the best Disney vacation possible. So to all who tune into this happy place, welcome. It's the Walt's World Podcast.
What's going on, friends? It's Tuesday, May 29th, 2018, and this is episode number 5 of the Walt's World Podcast. I'm your host, John, and with me, as she is every week, is my awesome co-host, Kaylee.
Hi, everyone.
How are you, Kaylee?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a great week, and I'm excited to talk about what we're talking about today.
I am so excited. This is going to be so good. If you loved last week's, and I'm sure you're going to love this week's.
Yes. And before we jump into talking about today's topic, we wanted to take a second and give a couple of shout outs, read a couple of reviews from our iTunes. Our first shout out is to our awesome friend Ethan. Ethan is 10, and he drew us an awesome picture with Kermit the Frog on it. And it's Kermit saying it's the Muppet Show, and it's got the Walt's World Podcast written on it, and it is so cool. Ethan, you are awesome. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Thank you, Ethan.
All right, now on to our iTunes reviews. Kaylee, why don't you read these for us? You take on these reviews.
All right, so this one says, Walt's World Podcast Review, love, in all capitals. It says, love listening to Kaylee and John every Tuesday morning. I think it's really cool the two different perspectives they have, not just male and female, but the locations where they live, provide aspects of Disney life from different viewpoints and opinions. Great job and love listening to you guys. Can't wait to hear more. And this is from KM Windling. Thank you so much. That was so sweet of you.
Woo! Woo! Thanks for listening.
Woo. Yes, thank you. The next one says, the Disney podcast I've been waiting for.
Ooh.
Wow. After hearing the first couple of episodes, I'm hooked. I love the different perspectives that the two hosts bring to each episode. Plus, they have a great chemistry that makes each episode very entertaining. You can tell they are genuine and truly love Disney. Walt's World has definitely moved to the top of my Disney podcast listening list.
Whoa!
And this is from JT Loves Disney. Thank you so much, JT. We're so glad to be on the top of your list. Thank you.
Thank you guys all for the reviews. And like I said, all the new reviews we get, we will read at the beginning of every episode of the podcast. But it means so much to us for you guys to review us. So make sure you keep reviewing our podcast. It helps other people find our podcast when you guys review it and rate it. So thank you guys for doing that for us. So today we are talking parades and fireworks and shows. Oh my! Do you like that title?
My, indeed.
I like that title. So what it is we're taking all of these, the parades, the fireworks, and all the shows at all 4 parks, and we're going to talk about our top choices for each park. We're going to give some tips about them, maybe some tricks on the best place to sit or when to get there, or maybe some of these fireworks shows and parades to avoid maybe. So we're just going to kind of discuss each of these at each park. So let's start. And some of these parks were not the easiest to talk about. And like Epcot doesn't have a whole heck of a lot going on in terms of shows and fireworks and stuff like that. So there's not a lot of choices. So let's start at Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, there are, and I'm just going to list all the shows that are available, parades, fireworks, at each park as we go through. So Animal Kingdom, you have Finding Nemo the musical, Rivers of Light, Festival of the Lion King, and I'm going to butcher some of these names, so just wait for it. Burudika, which is in the Harambe area, dancers, that kind of thing. The Tam Tam Drummers of Harambe. Up, A Great Bird Adventure. Boo. Discovery Island Carnival, which is the stage across from Flame Tree Barbecue. And then Festival of the Lion King.
Woo!
Those are all the different shows, parades, fireworks, stuff at Animal Kingdom. Kaylee, what is your list?
Okay, so first is Festival of the Lion King. I'm in love with the show. I want to see the show every time I go to Animal Kingdom. The singers blow me away each and every time. Like, I seriously shed a tear listening to them sing because it's just that breathtaking. It's amazing dancing. I love the audience interaction as well. You get to act like an animal. So they have the war hat, the war hats.
The war hats. Well, that's a very intimidating hat. What's a war hat look like, Kaylee? It's a war hat. I want a war hat. Do they sell those at Mouse Gear at Epcot, possibly? War hat.
I'm never living that one down.
Make sure to pick up your war hat on the way out of the Lion King, Festival of the Lion King show, everyone.
So they have the giraffe section, the warhogs, the lions, and the elephants. So you kind of get to make the sound of the animal, and it interacts with the music that's playing. So that's super fun to do. The tumble monkeys are so entertaining with all the acrobatics that they do. And I love the two lovebirds when they dance together and the girl bird like flies around the stage. So beautiful. I just think this show is just so breathtaking and beautiful. The music, the dancing, every single part of it. I love it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. This is my number one at Animal Kingdom as well. It's so good that we put a fast pass on it every time that Krista and I go. I love it. She loves it. It's an emotional show because it just kind of, I don't know, it takes you back to childhood as well. And so that kind of emphasizes the emotion a little bit. I love the tumble monkeys are probably my favorite part. There are actually some insight here. There's actually like 3 groups of tumble monkeys that rotate through the shows. And sometimes the tumble monkeys aren't actually in the show. So just hopefully you get there to a show where the tumble monkeys are actually in there. But they're awesome. I love the tumble monkeys. The part you're talking about with the flying, with the bird, the lovebird scene, which is just amazing. And it makes me dizzy to think about being twisted and spun the way that actress does. But it's engaging. All the colors, the sounds, the characters interacting with the kids and walking around and that kind of thing. It's just incredible. It's an incredible show. You must see it. Has to happen.
Has to happen.
What's next?
Next on my list is, and I'm going to butcher this probably too, it's a Birdika on the Harambe stage.
Mine too.
So if you didn't know, little fun fact, Birdika is Swahili for to be refreshed. So Disney puts on their site, so refresh and join the street party.
Heyo!
But it's seriously so hard not to. Like with the African style dancing and singing, it's literally impossible to walk by and like not shake your hips a little bit. Like I'm not even lying. It's so fun.
Yeah, I love that show so much. Like you just have to stop, and even if you're not the one that's going to like get out there and participate, it's so entertaining to watch people out there, like to see the kids dancing around, but then to see like the adults and like the grandparents out there dancing. Oh my goodness, people. It is so entertaining. And the best one is in the evening. They do it at night. That's my favorite one to watch them. Because usually by that time, adults have partaken in adult beverages through the day, so they're a little more excited about dancing crazy and stuff like that, and it's just more of a party atmosphere. And it feels like Harambe is just kind of like a party let loose kind of area anyways, but it's so cool. The music's fun. It's not some weird music. It's really cool music. They have a couple of dancers who interacts and gets you out there with them, and I love it.
They give the kids like little instruments to play with and like dance. It's so much fun. You have to watch it, even if you're not participating. But like I said, it's impossible not to. So super fun.
I don't dance. That's nothing that anyone wants. No one wants to see that.
That's depressing.
I'm not good. I'm not good.
Okay.
All right, next.
Next is, again in Harambe, the Tam Tam Drummers of Harambe. So this is more of the beat of the Congo with the drums. I love Animal Kingdom because I feel like I'm seriously transporting, especially between the Bradika show that we were just talking about and the Tam Tam Drummer show, it literally feels like you are going into Africa. They just seriously enlighten the whole atmosphere with the music. And like I said, it's impossible to not stop and listen and enjoy. I love them. I think they're super fun.
Yeah, they are fun. Our amazing friend and one of our awesome listeners, Glenn, who you should follow on Instagram. He is GJP Contracting on Instagram. He is one of the hugest Disney fans I know, but he loves the Tam Tam Dancers. He goes to Animal Kingdom just to see them and then leaves. That's how much he loves them. So a huge shout out to Glenn. We'll talk about Glenn, and I'll talk about Glenn when we talk about Epcot here in a little bit too. But they are so much fun. Again, just a blast there in Harambe. All right, so what's the one there that you would want to avoid, Kaylee? What's your one to avoid at Animal Kingdom?
Ugh, that's so hard. It's either... Actually, it's not, because I was going to say it's either Up, A Great Bird Show, or Finding Nemo, but I think Finding Nemo is just my least favorite at almost all of the parks. It's horrible.
Aw, that's so sad.
It's horrible.
Why do you hate Nemo?
I love Nemo. I love Finding Nemo. I love Finding Dory. I don't like this. I think they could have done it so much better. I don't know.
Is it because it's so long? Because it's like 40 minutes.
It is pretty long, which is kind of annoying. But I don't mind it, actually, because I like going inside and sitting down and relaxing. So it's not really the length of the show that bothers me as much.
Well, are you afraid of puppets?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Wow.
Like, I don't know if
that's
I'm
why you hate the Muppets, too. You're afraid of puppets.
It just freaks me out. I don't know why. Like, I just wish they were... I wish, like, the person was either in character or it was, like, a costume that a cast member was wearing. I don't know. Just give me something better than somebody running around with a little stick with a character on it.
Oh, wow. Well...
That was a little brutal, and I'm sorry, but
brutal.
I don't like that show.
All right, let's go now to Epcot. Over to Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Again, not a whole heck of a lot going on there in terms of shows, parades, or fireworks. So here's the list of everything show-wise. Now, what we decide as shows are things that actually, and I should have probably said this at the beginning, but what we consider to be shows are things that actually include live human beings. So we don't count like Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. We don't count Country Bear Jamboree, which was really hard for me not to because I love it so much. We don't count PhilharMagic as a show to watch. Or Muppet Vision 3D, which is Kaylee is happy about. So we don't count those as shows because they don't have actual humans in them, if that makes sense. So that's what we classified. I should have done that at the beginning. Sorry, everybody. But anyway, so Epcot, here's a list of all the shows, fireworks, parades that happen. You've got Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, which is the fireworks show in the evening. You got Mariachi Cobre at Mexico. You have the British Revolution, which is a British cover band over in England. You have the Jammers that hang out over in Future World East. You have the Voices of Liberty over in the American Pavilion, and you have, I'm going to butcher this, Matbuka Groove in Morocco. I'm so sorry to all of our friends in Morocco listening. We don't have any, but if you are, then I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, so that's the list of all the fireworks, shows, parades at Epcot. Now, there's also, actually, I left one off. There's also the drummers over in the Japan Pavilion as well, and the acrobats in China as well. So that's all of them. Kaylee, what's on the list?
I'm going to start with the British Revolution.
Ooh, yeah.
I love them. They're a tribute band, British rock music, and you have to love British rock music, but let's be honest, who doesn't?
Exactly.
So this...
Like One Direction.
Seriously.
Harry Styles.
No.
He's dreamy.
No. Anyways, moving on. So I love this so much because no show is the same. So the songs are always changing. You're not guaranteed to hear, necessarily the same bands all the time, the same songs all the time. So I kind of love that aspect. It's not like a really strict show where they do the same thing every single show. So I love that. And they feature songs from The Who, Queen, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, just the best of the best. So I love them. I think it's awesome. It's nice to go over there and just listen to them for a little bit, hang out, relax. And it kind of transports you again. You don't really feel like you're at a Disney theme park anymore. You feel like you're in England on the streets listening to a nice little cover band or tribute band.
Yeah, I love them. I will say this though. They can be misleading. This band can be misleading because one time the lead singer of the band was not British.
What?
Shouldn't it be a qualification that every member of the band is British? One time I listened, the lead singer was not British. He didn't even try to fake it. He was not British. When he talked, not British.
Well, it is a tribute band, so it doesn't necessarily have to be.
I felt bamboozled.
But I feel like everywhere else in Epcot, especially in the World Showcase, you kind of have to be...
You have to be from that country.
Yes, you have to be from that country to work there. So that is kind of weird that
you do. Maybe it's because it was a band. Maybe it's not easy to find,
not
people from England that can play that music. I don't know, but they are awesome. I love listening to them. Go over to the Rose and Crown, and then head over to listen to the British Revolution play. And it's a good time. It's a good escape from the craziness of Epcot sometimes on crazy days. Next
for me is going to be Illuminations, Reflections of Earth.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't really like a lot of them in Epcot, so this was one that I just kind of had to add in there because I needed another one for my list. But I do like it. I'm not going to lie and say I don't like it. I do like it. It's
Ask
just
me
not...
how many times I've seen it.
0, probably.
Once. And I didn't even really watch it.
Oh, really?
No.
It's beautiful. I like it. Hear me out. I like the way it tells a story. Because it seriously tells the story of Earth. So you kind of start out with the eruptions and explosions and lava and all of that, when Earth is being born. And it actually is kind of in 3 different stages. So the first one is Earth being born. And then the second one is the triumph of life. So this is history of humanity, achievements, all that good stuff. And then the last one is hope for the future. So they kind of represent this as a blossoming flower. There's a little bit of fireworks that go on, a nice white light. I like it. I think it's pretty good for a nice little ending show at Epcot. I think it's good. in the night, relax. It's not, it's not happily ever after or anything. You don't get super hyped over it. But I think it's a nice little show to, relax and end your night with. And like I said, I do like the story behind it. I think they did a pretty good job with it.
I don't hate it. I think it's just because my one concern when I'm leaving Epcot at night is to get to the buses before everyone else does. Because I don't know what it is, but it seems like every hotel when we stay on property, it seems like the bus takes forever to get to Epcot. I don't know why, but it just seems that way. It's okay. I like the music okay. I think what bothers me is several times we've been in line to ride Frozen during the fireworks because that's a great time to do it because there's not as many people in line. And the smoke from the fireworks, I don't know why, but it always blows towards Norway. I don't know why, but it seems like, and then it goes into the Frozen ride and the fire alarms go off. It's happened several times.
That's
it's
not like a nightly occurrence, though. That's like if the wind is blowing in Florida.
But when you've waited in line for like 30 minutes to ride the ride, and then they're like, we have to clear out the entire building. Like, you're not allowed to stay in line. Like,
and then they give you a free fast pass to use whatever, and you're fine.
Because the park is closing. They didn't give us a fast pass.
They gave me a fast pass when the ride shut down.
Anyways, Illuminations is fine. If they just need to change it. There's a rumor going around that they're in the process of writing and recording new music for it. So let's change it. Let's make it awesome. Let's make it more modern. Let's do it. Change it up. I would love. Epcot is primed for an amazing nighttime fireworks show. Let's do it. Do it.
I'm sure they will, especially with all the changes coming, like the Guardians of the Galaxy and all that. Oh, yeah. I'm sure they will update it.
For sure. One of mine is the Janitors at Future World East. And Future World East, if you're not familiar, Future World East is the area over around Test Track, Mission Space, previously known as the Universe of Energy, right in that area, right basically behind Mouse Gear. The Janitors, they're a trio of actual custodians, and they bang on trash cans. So they're not just like banging, but they're like playing songs and doing different things on it, kind of like Stomp, that show Stomp does. But what's cool is like they will change up the show based on if there's a festival. So Flower and Garden, they'll, instead of trash cans, they will use like pots and different gardening tools to use as drumsticks and things like that. If it's Food and Wine Festival, they'll be dressed up as chefs and they'll use pots and pans and things like that. So it's really cool. It lasts about 10 minutes. It's just a really cool thing to see at Epcot. They've been around since like 92, forever. So it's definitely worth stopping and watching. What's next?
Voices of Liberty in America.
Yeah. America! USA! USA!
Nobody's joining in on that.
Everyone, join in with me. USA! US!
No.
Okay.
No. Good
I
try.
love them. I love them, though.
I love them. So they are seriously amazing singers, just as good as the ones for Festival of Lion King. They're amazing. I don't know where Disney finds these talented people, but they're just breathtaking again. And I love it too because it's inside, so it's a great place to kind of go in and cool down, relax, and enjoy an amazing indoor show. Great costumes inspired by the 1800s, and they sing songs like America and the Beautiful, This Land Is Your Land, Yankee
This
Doodle
land is
Dandy.
my land. Sorry.
No. And Let It Go.
No, did they really sing that?
Yeah.
They sing Let It Go.
Let It Go. It's on the list. Check it out.
Oh my gosh. That just made me a little bitter towards them.
They sing other ones too.
I've
And this
never
is a
heard them sing that.
15-minute long show. So I think it's nice to go inside and watch it and just kind of relax and hang out. Like I said, their voices are breathtaking.
They are literally the greatest singers in the world. Like, they make the Festival of the Lion King singers look like kindergartners. Like, they
Do
are
not
so...
even say that. Are you joking me?
They're like, there's just a
That
complete
is
difference.
mean. They're
No, I
both
love-
amazing.
I love the Lion King singers. They're great. But these Voices of Liberty, these singers, they are so spot on with every single note they sing. It's unreal how amazing they are. Like especially some of the women that sing, like some of the notes they hit are just crazy, like glass shattering. And it's all a cappella. It's all a cappella.
Which makes it even better. I love a cappella.
They also change up their costumes and the songs based on the season. So like if it is Christmas time, which is one of my favorite times to listen to them, they will do Christmas carol type songs or traditional 1800s Christmas songs. And oh man, it's just, we have to do it every time. No, even if it's not raining, like we're not going to just go in there when it rains. Like we go in there to watch the Voices of Liberty because they are incredible. They're so good. And a fun fact, everyone, sometimes you will see some of the Dapper Dans from the Magic Kingdom Main Street area in the Voices of Liberty choir. Ooh, crossing over. Yeah, definitely. Make sure you watch out for that. One of mine is the Voices of Liberty, which we already talked about, but another one is the Matbuka Groove in Morocco. Now, I had never listened to them before until our trip in May. And they were so unbelievable. They're probably my favorite thing at Epcot to do now. Morocco already feels very festive and dancey and fun. And then when they do their set, which isn't very long, it's probably about maybe 10 minutes, they bring so much energy and people just gravitate to the stage, which is right at the edge of Morocco, not on the France side, on the other side. And they are so much fun. The music is really cool. And the lead singer actually has won a couple of Grammy Awards.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
I didn't know that. That's insane.
They are so cool. It's like a party right there in Morocco. And what we're going to do is we're posting on Instagram today, when this is released, we're going to post a video of our friend Glenn, GJP Contracting, having the time of his life dancing during one of their sets. That's what you're going to see on Instagram today. We're posting that. It is amazing. The music is awesome, but Glenn loves Morocco so much. So that's going to be on our Instagram. Make sure you check that out. It's posting today. But I love this band. They are just fun, and the way they play the instruments and the instruments they're playing are just amazing. So good. So good. Okay. All right. So I think that's it for our watch at Epcot. Do you have a avoid at Epcot, Kaylee? Is there one to avoid?
No, not really. I don't really have like a lot of feelings towards the shows at Epcot. Like, that's what I love. The tribute band and the Voices of Liberty, I love. The other ones are just like, I don't have a lot of feelings towards them. So I wouldn't say that I necessarily avoid any of them.
Yeah, I the only one I avoid is Illuminations, just because if you want to get back to your hotel, leave before Illuminations starts and get in line, because when Illuminations ends, people, there's a mass exodus and you're going to be waiting a couple of buses to get back to your resort.
A mass exodus.
A mass exodus.
Is that a word?
There is, unless it's magic hours. There's a mass exodus out of that place. As soon as that sucker hits the last note, people are bebopping their way out of there. So that's my only tip: is skip Illuminations, watch it on YouTube, and get back to your resort before midnight.
Hey everyone,
What's going on, guys?
I'm Colton.
And I'm Cody. And we're the Lost Bros. We're so stoked to be able to hop on here for a minute and talk about all of our exciting things that we have in the works.
Make sure after the show to check out our store for all of our latest apparel, pins, accessories, and more, inspired by everything theme parks and pop culture.
Also, check us out on Spotify to hear our first EP, The Kingdom Classics, where we take all of our favorite Disney songs and turn them into top 40 songs, like the one you're hearing now.
Under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me,
Or this one.
I'd surf till the sun sets beyond the horizon. I wiki wiki my low, he low, my eye go pop, I
So, keep up to date with everything going on in the parks with us, and links to all of these awesome things on our Instagram at The Lost Bros. You can ask us anytime about what rides to ride, where to eat, or anything like that, and we'll chat.
Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening. I'm Cody.
And I'm Colton.
And we're the Lost Bros.
All right, next, let's move over to Hollywood Studios. I feel like everything we do, when we talk about different parks, we always end on Magic Kingdom.
Because it's the best.
Yeah, that's true. Hollywood Studios. There is a lot going on at Hollywood Studios, obviously, because it's the Hollywood Studios, everything, the shows and stuff like that. So here's a list of all the shows. Now, remember, we're not counting shows that are not, that don't involve live humans. So Muppet Vision 3D does not count.
Thank you.
Oh, whatever. We did not include the Jedi training as a show because that's more of an attraction. If the kids are participating in it, that's the whole thing, is the kids being in it. So we didn't include that either. But everything else we've included into this. So here's a list. Beauty and the Beast live on stage, Fantasmic, Star Wars, A Galactic Spectacular, which is the nighttime fireworks, Indiana Jones, Stunt Spectacular, Epic Stunt Spectacular, For the First Time in Forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration, March of the First Order, which happens 1,000 times a day, which is when Captain Phasma and all the stormtroopers march down the main Hollywood Boulevard there. Star Wars, A Galaxy Far, Far Away, which is the stage show that happens with all the characters on it in front of the Chinese theater. Voyage of the Little Mermaid, Disney Junior live on stage, and The Citizens of Hollywood, which we did include in this because they're humans. And it's a show, basically.
They're amazing.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off your list, Kaylee.
All right. Number 3 is Beauty and the Beast live on stage. I love this because I just think it's a classic Disney nostalgic show. You have the singing, you have the dancing, everybody's in their cute little costumes. I think it's a nice show to watch. It is, in an outdoor stadium, which is, I think, is kind of the only downfall. I'm a big fan of shows that are inside an AC, especially in the heat of the Florida summer. But like I said, I think this is just a classic Disney show. It's definitely a must-see on my list for when you go to Hollywood.
We have to watch it. My wife loves Beauty and the Beast, so we always have to watch it when we're there.
The nostalgia
and
is
the little
real.
Yeah, for real. And you don't have to have a fast pass for it, people, unless your kid is just like, she's dressing like Belle every day of her life, loving Belle, and you want to be like first, second row. You don't have to have a fast pass for it.
Not at all.
No, you do not have to have a fast pass for it. Next for me is Fantasmic. Bum 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 bum. Sorry, I love it. I love Fantasmic. Oh my gosh. I can't tell you how much I love this.
I hate John's side effects.
I love Fantasmic.
Oh wait, I said side effects. That's not what I meant.
You can worry about my side effects while wearing your war hat.
Okay. Anyways, Fantasmic. So this is the 30-minute long show. It's kind of the grand finale at Hollywood Studios, I would consider it.
That's a great way to look at it. I never thought about it like that. I like that.
Well, I consider like Happily Ever After Magic Kingdom the grand finale for Magic Kingdom. So this is like the grand finale for Hollywood, I think.
I like that.
I love it. But anyways, so this you're kind of following along in the imagination of Sorcerer Mickey, which, hello, he does not get enough credit around the parks.
He's my favorite Mickey.
So cute.
Sorcerer
I
Mickey's
love
my
him.
favorite. My favorite Mickey in the world, Sorcerer Mickey.
I love it. So, you're kind of going along in his imagination and it takes you through a story. The villains take over, so it turns kind of dark for a little bit. And so there's Evil Queen, Scar, Ursula, Cruella de Vil, Maleficent. There's floats on the water because it is a stage that's around a little like lake or pond.
Lagoon.
So they bring out, the princesses and the princes and sing. I love it. I love the idea that you're kind of in Mickey's head and, going through that, especially if you watch the movies, the old school Fantasmic movies. It kind of brings you back to those, which I love. And it just has amazing special effects. Like, I think this show is just great when it comes to special effects. The pyrotechnics, dancing water, it has the laser lights, and it has a little bit of fireworks too, which you can't go wrong with fireworks.
And you can tell when this came out because based on based on the movies that are represented in it, you can totally tell that this was late 90s because you got Pocahontas as a focal point on this, and Pocahontas was mid-late 90s. So it debuted at Hollywood Studios in 98 and actually initially came out at Disneyland in 92. So it was adapted to match the time era. So it's not changed since 98. That's the only thing about it that it probably needs a little updating because...
I don't want it to change.
Well, they changed it at Disneyland, and they added in Pirates of the Caribbean, and they added in Rapunzel as one of the princesses, her and Flynn Rider. But
Are you recording or no? I don't think they need to change it. I love the nostalgia, especially if you watch the Fantasia movies. I think it's really good to watch this show and kind of reminisce on that with Sorcerer Mickey. I just love it. I think it's a great way to end your night. 10 out of 10 recommend.
not only is Fantasmic awesome and amazing, and me saying that they need to change it doesn't mean that it's not awesome. It's my favorite show at Disney, period. Just spoiler alert for later in the show, but it's incredible. Other thing I like about it is there's nothing like being at Hollywood Studios all day and then walking all the way up to that amphitheater and sitting down and seeing all the people there and the bubble machines going, which I hate bubbles, but all the people that are tired. But you hear this amazing, it's that Disney punk music where it's just amazing to me. I love it.
And you love the crowd surfing too, don't you? Oh, wait, is that what that's called? No, it's called the wave. You love the wave,
I hate
right?
the wave. What's the point? What's the point of the wave? Like,
it's fun. It gets the audience hyped.
it doesn't get me hyped.
For the main
I'm
event.
not there to stand up and wave my arms about. This isn't the hokey pokey, okay? I'm there to sit and
Really?
watch a show. If I'm sitting, if I wanted to stand up, I would stand up and stretch.
It's a quick, like, less than 5 second
dumb.
stand up. Seriously.
The wave is stupid.
Whatever.
Hashtag stop the wave.
Hashtag Fantasmic needs better chairs because
That is true.
my butt hurts.
It's metal bleachers, and they are not comfortable. Even if you've been on your feet all day and you've been dying to sit down, after 5 minutes of sitting on those things, you're like, yep, I'm
Your
done.
back hurts.
I'm done. I need to stand up. I do suggest, this is one thing I do suggest, I get a fast pass for it. I get it later in the day. There's always some available. Like if I've used all my fast passes for the day and there's nothing else I'm really just like dying to get a fast pass for, I will use it on Fantasmic and guarantee myself a spot in the center of the show. That's what we do. We try to get a fast pass later in the day so we can make sure we're in the center, which is the best place to be.
But it's not totally necessary
No.
because it's a huge stadium.
No, it's not necessary. But if you want to be in the middle, it is necessary to do that, or the dining package where you get dining reservation and fast pass to Fantasmic.
Next, the best. For the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along. I love this show. It is so funny. Seriously, the royal historians make this whole show. Like, I literally go and watch it just for them. I don't care about, Elsa singing and all that stuff.
Let it go! Let it go!
I don't need it. I just need the royal historians to make me laugh like all day, every day. Last time that me and Cheddar Biscuits watched it, there was an audience member on his cell phone texting, and one of the royal historians called him out hard.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was just like a running joke the whole show.
So
I don't
good.
know. Like when they talk about at the end, like where to find your stroller, he was like, oh, hey, do you know what happens to an audience member who's been texting the whole show? I don't know. I just thought it was so funny.
What happens?
I mean, he like went behind the curtain. It was like a little like joke. Like he was like trying to be like scary and funny. I don't know. It was cute. I
gotcha.
liked it.
Okay, I got you now. I thought they did this
Because it was like
something
at
to a
the end when
stroller.
like the curtains were closing and he just like peeped his head out and was like, yeah. I love it. I think they make this show,
That's
like
so
I
funny.
said, they tell the story of Arendelle and Anna and Elsa. There's singing, there's it snows, bubbles, which it snows a lot.
A lot.
Like it's not like a little flurry. It's almost excessive.
Yeah.
Like you feel wet almost. Like you've just been
It's
drenched
overwhelming.
by water. It's very overwhelming. Like Just give me a little bit, please. A little bit goes a long way when it comes to bubbles falling from the sky. Yeah. So
Krista, my wife, and I love this show. I will say this though, they have been kind of pulling back on the amount of jokes and ad-libbing that the royal historians get to do. I know that was actually, it's a mandated thing by Disney. They've been having them pull back from the jokes and stuff, which stinks because that's the whole show for adults. I mean, that made the show, like you were talking about, the inside jokes, the funny, like they'll go on tangents and kind of feed off of each other. The two historians will, and they'll just kind of ad-lib their way through a scene. But Disney's kind of making them pull back on it because I think they've had some complaints, which people complain about everything. So
I just want to shout out to my favorite royal historian, and maybe he will hear this one day and smile. But it is Ben, Equity Ben on Instagram. He is amazing. He posts on Instagram when he's going to be performing in the shows. So definitely go to his Instagram and check out when he's going to be doing it, because I'm not even lying. He makes the show.
He's the best.
Him and the lady with the blonde hair, unfortunately I don't know her Instagram or her name. They play off each other so well. They have such, a great connection. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I cannot talk about the show enough. I think it's one of my favorites.
Mine, I have both of those. Fantasmic, for the first time in forever. Frozen as two of mine. The other one for me is Star Wars: A Galactic Spectacular. It's the fireworks show at night. I'm a huge Star Wars person, so for me, the music takes me back to the Star Wars. You got the projections on the Chinese theater, and it goes through all the Star Wars movies, even the horrible ones, episodes 1, 2, and 3. They've added in Rogue One. They show clips from every movie. They play up the dark side, the light side. They've talked about Rey and Finn and all those characters now. And the music and the lasers and the fireworks, it's just so cool. If you don't like Star Wars...
And the pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, pew, 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 pew. I love this fireworks show. Now, granted, I would rather see Fantasmic, but it's still so cool. I love the music. The Star Wars music is just so, like, triumphant and celebratory, and you recognize it immediately the second that you hear it.
I enjoy the show. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I've never seen the movies. Wah, wah, wah.
Whoa. None of the movies.
I have not seen any of the movies, no.
Oh my goodness, people.
And Cheddar Biscuits is a huge Star Wars fan.
I'm sorry for having her as my co-host.
I'm going to get some hate comments on Instagram or something.
You are now the Jar Jar Binks of this podcast. You're unwanted and unnecessary.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
All right. So, do you have a void?
Yes, and you're going to hate it.
Oh my gosh.
Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. I cannot. It's...
You're the worst kind of person.
It makes me cringe.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
I do not like this show.
My gosh.
It's old. It needs to be changed and updated. I'm over. It's the same thing every single time, at least with like Frozen, First Time in Forever, like the royal historians, like the jokes change every show. And sure, they may be minimal nowadays, but they're still there. You go to Indiana Jones and you know what to expect. They try to make it some, like surprise stunt show. No, you know what's going to happen. You know they're going to pull, you know it all. You know the audience member is actually going to be a cast member.
Spoiler alert.
Ugh, nah. Avoid.
Indiana Jones is classic. That's the only thing left. That's the only thing left of old Hollywood, of old MGM. I mean, it's not an opening day attraction, but it's the only thing that's left from old MGM. That's it. Magic Kingdom. Finally, Magic Kingdom. Let me list again. We're not talking Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. We're not talking the PhilharMagic, not Country Bear Jamboree. None of those. We're talking real human attractions.
Oh, wait, you didn't say the one that you avoid.
There's not really one I avoid at Hollywood Studios. I like them all. Honestly, there's not one that I'm just like, I refuse to see that. The March of the First Order, you're going to watch it because you're going to end up somewhere
in the crossfire.
Yeah, you're going to end up in the crossfire of it somehow. And it's just cool to see it. I'm not a big fan of the stage show with all the characters on it. The Star Wars A Galaxy Far, Far Away. Just because it seems stupid to me. Like, all these characters are on stage together, but you got Boba Fett, who's dead.
Boba?
Darth Vader.
I thought it was Boba.
Boba Fett. It doesn't matter. I'm from Tennessee, y'all.
I'm from Tennessee, y'all. I'm a 10.
What kind of accent was that? That's like, did you just have a stroke? What happened to you? I'm from Tennessee. I'll say Boba. Y'all, I'll say whatever I want to say out here, okay? But Boba Fett, whatever. He's dead. Darth Vader, dead. Why is Darth Vader and Kylo Ren on the stage at the same time?
That does not add up, people.
Something does not make sense on that. But they just stand there and they're like, hey, look at me. I'm in Star Wars. Like, I just don't get it. Whatever. Kids love it. That's great. But anyways, let's just go on to Magic Kingdom. You're getting me fired up about it. Okay. Magic Kingdom. Go ahead.
Magic Kingdom, my number 3 is the Once Upon a Time, the Castles show after Happily Ever After. Don't even make that face ever again. I like the show, and I like it especially for the kids because it's just a cute nighttime, almost like bedtime story. So it starts with that Once Upon a Time. You know, like when you're like a parent
does it?
and you're like, yeah, spoiler alert, Once Upon a Time starts with Once Upon a Time. No, but you know when you're like tucking your kid into bed, neither of us have kids, and you're
I have
like,
no idea what that's like.
Once Upon a Time. You know, you just tell like a sweet little story, and it's Mrs. Potts and Chip. I think it's cute. I like it for the kids. It's just a nice little bedtime story. Good night. Go home.
I like that they incorporate Winnie the Pooh more in it. That's cool with the Huffalumps and Woozles.
Hump-lump.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. I'd rather get to the bus station or go ride rides than to watch that show.
There's definitely priorities for people who don't have kids aside from watching this, but I still think it's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. For me, The Muppets present great moments in American history. Great moments in
knew
history,
you were gonna say
but many of the
this.
American parts. I love this show. It happens over in Liberty Square, there around the Hall of Presidents. So what happens is you have Sam the Eagle, Kermit the Frog, Fozzie the Bear, Gonzo, Miss Piggy, and then, of course, some of the chickens that are Gonzo's ladies, are telling 2 different stories. They'll tell one story each show. One story is the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The other is the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. Now, a little tidbit, if there's not a town crier, there's a human actor who's like a town crier who's kind of like a narrator type guy. If he's not available to be a part of the show, they will do the Ride of Paul Revere. If he is available, they would do the Declaration of Independence.
What does that mean if he's available? Like, do they not
If the
schedule
cast
him?
member, well, if they have someone to be the town crier or not, basically. If the town crier is sick or not able to be there, they will do the Ride of Paul Revere.
That's a
So just
hoax.
tidbit.
I'm bamboozled by that.
Just a little insider info for you. But Sam the Eagle is kind of the main guy, of course, because it's America, and Sam the Eagle loves America. America. And it's just fun. They kind of make fun of the history part of it. They kind of make fun of the other countries involved, which is England, obviously. But it's all in good fun. And so I just love it. I love the Muppets. I love the Muppets. But I'm older. I grew up with the Muppets, Muppet Babies, and the Muppet Show. Those things, so good. Of course, Kaylee hates it. She hates everything fun and happy. Well, the Muppets are amazing. So that's one of my have to watch. But I've never personally seen the Ride of Paul Revere show. I've only seen the Declaration of Independence. Always.
I definitely think that the Muppets are a more controversial group of Disney characters. Am I wrong? Like, it's one of those, you either
Controversial?
love it or you hate it. Okay. No, they're controversial.
What, like, why? Like, we're not talking like,
Like I said, you either love it or you hate it. You could be. Not in Disney, but in the show.
what is
Isn't there like a
happening?
show or
This
a
show has gone
movie
off
or
the rails.
something?
This show has gone off the rails. Just, what's next on your list? Jeez.
Okay. Next is
watch The Muppet
Festival. Do not. Festival of Fantasy.
It's the festival of
Fantasy.
Rest in peace, Maleficent. Rest in peace.
I know. I love this parade. It is amazing. There's so many characters in it. Mickey, Minnie, Ariel, Sebastian, Peter, Wendy, Captain Hook, TikTok Croc, Merida, Three Bear Brothers, Flynn Rider,
Lost Boys.
Rapunzel's, Lost Boys. Everybody. All the princesses, Cinderella, Belle,
Seven Dwarfs,
Seven Dwarfs.
Alice, the Mad Hatter, White Rabbit,
It's
Jiminy
so-
Cricket, Pinocchio. It's amazing. It's the greatest parade Disney's ever had, behind the Main Street Electrical Parade. But it's the second greatest parade Disney's ever had. The floats are whimsical, and they are just, they take you into this world of fantasy. You have every character, like we mentioned, every character that you like is in this parade. My favorite part of this parade is the Peter Pan. I love Peter Pan. I love the Lost Boys. They are so fun. And you've got Captain Hook on it. I love it. It's the greatest Disney World parade.
Mine was Maleficent, and then my dreams suddenly came crashing down.
Your dreams went up in flames.
Yep.
Ew, see what I did there? Get
Yep.
it? Get it?
Yep.
Because she caught on fire.
Yeah, I hope they bring her back. But the floats are
She's
just
not coming
beautiful. I love this. I love this parade. You definitely have to watch it. It's 3 p.m. daily currently. I mean, unless they change it for some odd
Hey,
reason.
Kaylee, what time's the 3 o'clock parade? What time is that at the 3 o'clock parade?
3 p.m.
Sorry.
People don't know.
I've heard people ask. I hear people ask cast members, "What time's the 3 o'clock parade?" Ugh, that happens. It happens, people. Festival of Fantasy. Do not miss. The next one for me, and I think the next one for you, which is my second favorite show, parade firework at Disney. Happily Ever After. It is
Amazing.
the greatest fireworks show in Disney World history.
It was definitely a huge thing when, people found out at first that they were replacing Wishes.
Wishes.
However, I think it was, it would have been upsetting if it wouldn't have met everybody's standards, but it didn't just meet everybody's standards. It exceeded the expectations, the standards, everything. Wishes, it had been around for a really long time. It was replaced last year in May. I think this show is seriously amazing. It's a stunning picture show on the castle. It's the grand finale at Magic Kingdom every evening. The soundtrack is amazing. I love that they still have Tink flying over.
Don't even. Oh, I'm getting emotional thinking about it.
I know, I cry every time, especially when the Tarzan scene comes on and they're like, "You'll be in my
I can't do it. I can't do it.
I know,
Don't
I
even go
seriously
there.
tear. But that's what I love about it. Like, I love how Disney just brings like all of these emotions. You're happy crying, you feel the love, you feel the family atmosphere. It's every single aspect of Disney in one show. You get the villains as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
I was there last May for the last night of Wishes, the first night of Happily Ever After.
Do you know how salty I am that I was there on the last night of Wishes and I didn't know that Happily Ever After was going to be shown like shortly after?
What?
I can't not even tell you how irritated I was at myself.
Oh my goodness, Kaylee.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's not fester on that because that's just embarrassing.
It's a whole other thing.
So Wishes, I loved Wishes. My wife and I love Wishes. It holds a special place in our life. And we watched Wishes. We kind of shed some tears because it was over. But then the next night, it was like, Wishes who? Like, never knew her. Like, it was amazing. Happily ever after is everything Disney should be.
You're
in that
speechless.
one
You can't even think of what to
fireworks
say.
projection show. I will say this,
'Cause it's
y'all,
that good.
though, that if you're going to watch it, do not go any closer than the partner statue to watch it. Because the closer you get to the castle, the more
You're gonna
blurry.
break your neck.
Well, you're going to break your neck looking up to see the fireworks, but you're the more blurry the projections are going to be. You also can't see all the fireworks, and you can't see all the stuff going on around. It's not just the castle, it's the stuff going on to the sides of the castle. It's the stuff going on around the hub as well. There's projections going on, fireworks going on. So you do not want to be any closer than where the partner statue is. That's just my 2 cents. I've watched it 20 times probably. Don't go closer than that. I've watched it the very first row. I've watched it from Main Street. I've watched it from the hub, several different places. The best place is around the partner statue. Don't go closer than that. You're not going to miss anything. It is so amazing. When Tink flies, oh my gosh, that's the moment. That is the moment when Tinkerbell flies from the castle.
It's the moment. The tears start falling.
Yeah, exactly. The music track, the Happily Ever After theme song is perfect. The music that's between the beginning and the end, it's all amazing. The one thing that a lot of people are upset about is they say there's no story with it. With Wishes, there was a story, and they're like, well, there's not a story with Happily Ever After. There's no story. Yes, there is, if you pay attention. It begins them talking about finding your Happily Ever After, right? That's the whole thing, finding your Happily Ever After. So if you go through it, it starts out happy music, and then it goes through times where you kind of lose yourself. We all, as we grow up, everything's whimsical and fantasy when we're young, but then when we get a little older, teenage, we have emotions and people are mean to us and things happen. And so in the show, that's when the villains are there and there's fighting, and Aladdin's fighting Jafar, and you see Maleficent, and you see the Pirates of the Caribbean fighting and all this stuff, and the castle gets destroyed, but then it gets rebuilt, right? With family and the stories. Love, and it's rebuilt, and you find your happily ever after. There is a story with it, people. There is a story. You just have to pay attention to it. Now, the other tip I have is get there 1 hour before happily ever after starts. You have to. If you want a good spot, you have to get there 1 hour before it starts. If you're thinking you're just going to show up at 15 minutes before it starts and get a great spot, guess what? Not going to happen. You're going to be so far in the back. You're going to be behind people. You're going to have a blocked view by a tree or by someone with a kid on their shoulders. Our next episode, after next week, our episode 7 is going to be stuff that makes us mad at Disney World. It's happening. But anyways, you got to get there an hour early. You're not going to get a good spot. I'm sorry. It's been out for a year, but that doesn't matter. You got to get there an hour early. All right, so that's all the parks. That's all the stuff, the fireworks, the parades, and the shows at all the parks. We talked about some of our favorite. Let us know what your favorite things are. What are your favorite shows and parades and fireworks at all the parks? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know. Email us, waltzworldpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what your favorites are. So that's the show. If you enjoyed our show, we would love for you to subscribe to this podcast. Share this with all of your friends and family. If you have any questions for us, email us, waltzworldpodcast@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram @waltzworldpodcast. We would love to hear from you. So with that, I'm John.
And I'm Kaylee. We'll see you next week.